So, good morning and how are you? In our today's vlog, we are looking at how you should dispose old computers, old laptops, old mobile phones, old printers, scanners, photocopiers, landlines, and any other technology item in place. Have you ever wondered or asked yourself, now that we have a lot of these technology gadgets being important in our country by so many people, by so many companies, so many other times, have you ever asked yourself, where do these gadgets go to after they are used? You know, it is a very important question. And so today we are addressing on how you should dispose these technology items, these mobile phones that are completely obsolete, where should you take them to? Suppose you cannot do anything else with them. And so disposing old computers can be a big challenge. They present several unique challenges per se. They become solid waste after we are done with them. And so it is something that can give you a real challenge in disposing. It can really challenge you in disposing it. And so the question you should ask yourself is, where then do I take them? Yes, I had imported a lot of them. Where do I really take them after I'm used or I am done with them? Right? So this is a very important question. And so computers, like many other or other electronic devices, they contain heavy metals. And this is the key word here. These devices contain heavy metals. They are made of heavy metals, heavy ingredients, if I may say. Some of them even, like for example the old monitor type, the CRT, they contain very high voltage, composition or components in their especially power system. So if you don't dispose them well, then it can be a safety, hazard. And so knowing how to dispose them is very important. And point number one, when you think of disposing any of your technology items, one of the things you should do or you should keep on practicing the moment you obtain or you buy a computer or laptop or even your mobile phone is backing up your data. Having a copy of your data somewhere. We have in several classes, in several video blogs, talked about backing up data, having a copy of your data somewhere elsewhere. And so one of the things you should think of when your computer starts depreciating and you feel like at some point, or even when you buy it when new, it is new, you should start thinking of is a backup of your data somewhere. Maybe in your flash disk, it could be in your external hard drive, it could be in the cloud, it could be in your email system, that is online, either in your email or in your online account. So that suppose something happens in this device, maybe theft, maybe it becomes, it develops a problem, like it breaks down, or even because of maybe cyber crime, then you can have a backup of your data somewhere. It can get in the wrong hands. So when it gets in the wrong hands, you should have a backup somewhere. Some of these electronic devices, one of the things that we keep there is our personal details, our personal mails containing maybe our health status or our family institution, maybe documents and other things. It can even contain your passwords. It can also contain your credit card details or a password into your bank account. And when cyber criminals get this data, they can siphon your money, they can take your money, they can steal from you, because we've also talked about cyber security and seen how and you have been able to see how cyber criminals steal your data so that they can be able to maybe use it for, malicious purposes. So if we are not careful when disposing these our electronic devices like laptops, we just throw them away. Our computers, we just throw them in the dustbins. And then someone who understands about them gets them, powers them, or gets them somewhere, and they get to remove your hard disk. Then they can recover the data inside there. And maybe that data contains some of the information about your credit card details, about your bank details, about your passwords into your M-Pesa PIN. And then they can siphon money from you or from your system, and thus, or rather, what we call cyber crime, or what happens with cyber criminals, with the people who hack into systems, or by the hackers. So when you are disposing them, or when you are disposing these electronic devices, it is very important to note that, or to be able to see to it that we have backed up our data. We have a copy of our data somewhere, and then we completely delete what is in them before we throw them away. And then throwing them away is not just like any other waste. E-waste is very important in that it can be a safety hazard. So you should be very careful on how you dispose it. And so, one of the ways in which you can dispose, or in which you should dispose your e-waste, your old computers, your old laptops, your old mobile phones, those which have become obsolete, is by donating them into an organization, or to our friends, to our brothers, to our sisters, to a learning institution, So that is one of the ways. You can give your old printer to one of the learning institution or one of the schools in your neighborhood. You can donate your computer to one of the schools in your neighborhood. You can give it to your brother. You can give it to your young sister or so. So by that way, you are disposing it. But now a question arises. What if this device is completely obsolete? I mean, it cannot be used. I don't have a brother whom I can donate it to. Then where do I take it? Okay? Very important question. And so, one of the ways in which you can dispose it is by contacting the manufacturer of your computer. Like, for example, the HP, Hewlett Packard, Maybe it is from Dell company. You can contact them and ask them, by the way, you people, do you have a way in which you dispose old computers, those which have become obsolete? And so if they have a way of doing it, because some of the companies or manufacturers, they get these devices and they recycle them. Then if they have a way of disposing it, they will let you know, and you can give them these obsolete machines so that they can dispose it for you. A safe way of disposing it, or a safe dispose for the machine. Number two, in which you can dispose them, is by recycling it. If you yourself, there is a way you can recycle it. You can give it maybe to a company from your neighborhood who have a safe way, and especially those who are certified by this EPA, or by companies which meet EPA criteria, a body that certifies that yes, these people have a safe way of disposing e-waste. And when we talk of e-waste, what are we talking about? We are talking about technology gadgets. These old mobile phones that cannot be used, or that you are not using and you want to do away with them. These old computers, these old laptops, these old printers, any e-waste, there is a safe way of disposing it. And we are saying one of the reasons, it's because they are made of heavy metals that can be a safety hazard if you just haphazardly dispose them away. I've ever seen a documentary from the coast, right? Although this was a documentary about a company that did not have a safe way of disposing its waste. And so the people from around have been affected by the components or by the dirt from the factory. And so you find many people are maimed. They have become, viwete. Wanazaa watoto wenye wako completely maimed, as in watoto wenye wako viwete. They are very weak in their body system. Their bones are very weak. Vidole hata vimekatika katika, unajua. yani watu wako na deformity, and the reason because they have consumed. There is a factory from around them. I saw the documentary from Coast. The factory around them does not have a good way of disposing its waste, and so that waste has become a safety hazard. Imeaffect hawa watu mpaka they have become very weak in their body system. They become sick. And so it is the same for e-waste. It is the same for computers. It is the same for printers. It is the same for laptops. It is the same for mobile phones. The kind of metals that are made, that comprise in these devices, is not safe if not very well disposed. Talk to your manufacturer. Talk to a company that meets EPA criteria. Ask them how you can dispose these old computers. Do they have a safe way? Do they recycle it? You know, I like one guy who was my mentor when I got into ICT, when I got into computing. The guy was Tom Musili. He used to operate from Starehe Boys Center. That's where we used to come. He had come up with a way of importing computers, then giving them to organizations, giving them to schools at a very small fee. And then these gadgets, he had people who would come and service them. And also, there was a way in which if the devices become obsolete, he would come and pick them, then go and dispose them for you. I like Tom Musila a lot. It is, I mean, ni kitambo kidogo, but he had that mind. That's what he used to do for us. And he mentored me a lot in this field. And so, what we are saying is that if for sure these devices cannot be used, if you cannot donate it to your brother, to your sister, if it's completely obsolete such that it cannot be used again, right? And you really want to do away with it, if you cannot donate to an organization, if you cannot donate it to any institution because of its status, then do not just throw it with the other dirt. Usiseme ati wacha urushe ende Dadora huko ati kachomewe huko ama nini. Hata hiyo kuchoma, when you burn that device, the kind of smoke that it emits to the environment, it is very dangerous. It is a health hazard. So you should not just dispose them like that. Look for a company. Look for a way. Ask, research. You know, the reason why sometimes we get into some traps, it's because we don't research. It is because we don't consult. It is because we don't look for information. And you know, information is power. We are living at information age. And so if you look for this information, if this information you really look for it on how, and you know, some of us have really imported so many devices, so many computers, so many printers, and some of them, when they get into us, they become like useless because you just buy it the way it is, maybe from Maju, UK, or from wherever, and then you import them. Fewer can be used, others are completely broken. So where do you take them? You have a room full of them. So having a safe way, having a company that is certified, that can dispose it for you is very important, so that it doesn't affect the other people from around you, so that it doesn't become an environmental hazard. You know, environment sometimes operates just like technology. You know, in technology we say garbage in, garbage out, right? So sometimes what we give to the environment, it is what it gives us out. If you give it dirt, if you give it, vitu chafu, it is what it will give out to us. And so to take care of this, it is then very important that we make sure that in disposing our technology items, we look for a way, for a safe way of disposing them, so that we don't become the people who are killing our fellow people, right? And so we are saying, before you dispose it, make sure that your data is safe, your data is backed up, you have everything right in your backup system before you dispose it. Then you can give it to a company that recycles. You can give it to some people who recycle and are certified that the way they are recycling is a safe way for the environment and for the other people. Otherwise, thank you for listening. Thank you for following our video. Thank you for being our subscriber. Thank you for liking our channel. Right? We value you a lot. You keep us going. You keep us moving. And we know very well from this information, you will practice a safe way of disposing your e-waste so that it does not become a health hazard to any other individual, to the community around you. Shalom.